everybody, and welcome back to Music Express's series, Making the Band. We've had the bass player, the percussionist, the guitar player, and today we are so lucky to have the keyboard expert, the one and only Mary Eckler, keyboard extraordinaire. And we're going to talk today about the role that the keyboard can play in even a rock band. Mary, welcome.
Thank you, John. It's so exciting to be here.
You look like you could play in a rock band today
Well, I'm
with
a
all
bit
that
bedazzled,
bling
aren't
on.
I?
Now, honestly, not very many garage bands are going to have a piano like this in it, are they?
That's true. Not too often.
We call this a grand piano, and we're lucky to have a grand piano here in the studio. Most garage bands are probably going to have something much smaller. But what does a grand piano sound like?
A grand piano sounds so wonderful because you have all of these long strings that create all of this vibration. So you get this big, all the bottom end. Very great for classical music, of course.
That sounds awesome. Awesome. I wish I could do that. But you wouldn't hear that sound very often in a rock band, really, would you?
Not too often, although, some people do, for the 50s rock, it's
Sure.
a great sound, great traditional sound. But it's not too portable.
Now,
That's the problem.
with the other instruments, we've been talking a lot about the role they play in a garage band, like whether it's accompaniment or if it's the lead. Well, how would you describe the role of the keyboard in a rock band?
Well, the keyboard can have a lot of functions. It can function as a support instrument in that we call it comping. You're playing chords with the band while the guitar player is riffing. So, for instance, a song like I've Been Working on the Railroad.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Well, now that sounded to me like Mary was like the whole band playing. She was playing the accompaniment, the melody, the bass part. Is sometimes the piano player the entire band all in itself?
Sure. If you're playing, maybe you're playing a hotel lounge job and you're the solo pianist, then you do need to be the whole band. You have to provide all of the music. But when you're playing in a garage band, you need to know that you have to simplify. So, for instance, in a song like I've Been Working on the Railroad, you're going to just be playing simple chords. Right, rather than being all over the place.
Because the bass player might not even like it if you were like playing the bass line and almost fighting with him, right? If your left hand's playing a bass line and you've also got a bass player.
They don't like that. They have their territory and you need to respect that. And your territory is, to provide what we call a pad. So this would be padding. This would be more of arpeggiating. This is not a pad.
Because it's rhythmic.
It's more rhythmic and more busy. A pad is simple. So like, for instance, on the synthesizer, this would be a great pad to use in a rock band. It's a little bit more of a brass pad. It has an edgy sound. And see how it sustains and provides a nice foundation for other things that might be going on. If the guitarist is, and I'm playing the pad, rather than if I'm also going.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
it gets a little busy.
Well, now it's pretty obvious that you've moved from a grand piano to something else here. And we've all seen different kinds of keyboards and things like this, but what do you call this thing?
Well, it's called a synthesizer, or if that's too complicated, you could just call it an electronic keyboard. Either term is acceptable.
And it's a lot more portable than this grand piano, isn't it?
Oh, it definitely is. And today there's just so many wonderful keyboards to choose from of every size, shape, and color. Some are much more lightweight, so it's a wonderful option to have.
So, Mary Eckler, how did you go from playing a classical piano like this to being a pianist in a rock band? Did you play in a garage band when you were a kid?
Well, I did. I studied classical music through college, but then I heard Carole King, and I was already singing, and it was just like a revelation to me. And so that's when I started to learn to play by ear. Prior to that, I had really just read music. But then I started to learn to play by ear and to kind of pick out all the songs on Carole King's Tapestry record. And then I decided to start my own band, which was based on songs that I had written.
Oh, you're a composer as well as a pianist.
Yes, I am.
What was the name of your band?
Well, my first band, very creatively, was called the Mary Eckler Trio.
I love that.
And then I had a wonderful group called Orchid, which our name we chose based on a painting by Georgia O'Keeffe. And that was a really great group. It had 3 vocalists. And that's when I really started to learn, how to play in a band as a keyboard player.
So the keyboard, a rhythmic instrument, a melodic instrument, setting down texture, pads, a multifaceted role in a garage band.
Definitely.
So Mary, we have a lot of our young Music Express listeners who might see themselves playing in a garage band or any kind of band as a keyboard player. Do you have any advice for them on how to get started?
Sure, I would just suggest put that band together, get together with people and play. And don't be afraid to take everyone's advice and let them know that you want their advice in terms of your role. And, practice.
Practice.
And listen to
Amazing.
recordings. Listen to recordings.
Oh, listen to recordings of people that you might admire, a band, like you listen to Carole King.
Sure, and listen
might-
to what the piano player is specifically doing. As a matter of fact, I was auditioning for the group Wilson Phillips, which I fortunately got the job. But I listened to the keyboard players' parts, and I actually wrote down what they played. And that was so educational for me to actually hear exactly what the keyboard was doing.
So when the opportunity came along, you were prepared
I was
to
ready.
succeed.
I was ready. I wanted the job.
Right. I think it could be a really fantastic thing to be a keyboard player in a garage band. And my favorite song, I've been working on the railroad. Can you show us, just give us a little hint of what you really can do?
Sure.
Either here, maybe on this garage band style synthesizer.
Okay. let me
Ladies
get
and
a pencil.
gentlemen, Mary Eckler in a rock band version of I've Been Working on the Railroad. You can go anywhere you want with it. Ladies and gentlemen, from Music Express Making the Band series, the one and only Mary Eckler.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Dan.
joining us, and we'll see you again next time on Making the Band.